I'm pretty sure that I ruined political genius David Axelrod's dinner last night. I saw political genius David Axelrod on the streets of Chicago yesterday, and I sort of took his picture, but the whole experience just reminded me why I am not the best celebrity stalker out there. I'm pretty much still just stalker-ish. I was walking down the street right alongside Millennium Park, and I had my camera hanging around my neck. That's unusual. I don't always walk around with my camera, but it was around my neck because I was on my way to take a few shots of a building that I needed to photograph for a seminar that I'm working on. So as I walked briskly down South Michigan Avenue across the street from the Art Institute of Chicago, I passed by a little cafe with some tables on the sidewalk. It was a really beautiful afternoon, so the place was packed. And there he was, sitting at a table in a sidewalk cafe, political genius David Axelrod. You've got to remember him, right? Either from the Obama campaigns or the Obama administration or his work as a pundit during the last presidential campaign. I recognized him right away because I am a loser. Even though I was walking right alongside the tables, there was a little bit of distance between the two of us because the building where the restaurant was housed was under construction. So there's a scaffolding there. So there's a little bit of distance, but as soon as I saw him, I stopped dead in my tracks. And he must have noticed me do that because he looked right at me. We locked eyes and I stopped and I pointed at him. I pointed directly at him and I looked at him and I mouthed to him without actually saying anything. I said, "You're David Axelrod." And he looked straight at me. He could not take his eyes off of me. And he mumbled something out of the side of his mouth to his dinner companion. Most likely something like, "Hey, is that the guy that gives those ethics programs to lawyers?" Or something like that. Since I already had the camera swung around my neck, I decided I'm going to be a little bit bold and ask for the picture, right? So I point to the camera, and then I point back at him, and I say, "Can I take your picture?" And pointing to the camera, and back at him, and the camera, and back at like some kind of lunatic. Not exactly my most elegant moment. So political genius David Axelrod didn't exactly say that I could take his picture, but he didn't say that I couldn't. He just kind of stared at me with this look in his eyes that said something like, am I supposed to be afraid of this guy? At the very least, I think what he was really saying was, okay, let's get this over with. You're ruining my dinner. He kept eye contact with me as I raised my camera, and I snapped a picture. Nothing. I pressed the button again, and nothing. Meanwhile, political genius David Axelrod is doing his part, and he's staring right at me. What I realized eventually is that one needs to actually turn the camera on for it to work. I had not done that. I pulled the camera down, I flipped the switch, I picked it back up, and I took a picture, but by that time, political genius David Axelrod had apparently had enough of me, and he turned his attention back to his dinner companion. But then just as I went to press the shutter, at the last instant, it happened. Political genius David Axelrod shot me a sideways glance, half smirked, and I got the picture. I want to believe that he was thinking to himself, "Oh, you're still there?" But it's more likely he was thinking something along the lines of, "Seriously, dude, you're still there?" So I'm sorry, political genius David Axelrod, for ruining your dinner, but it's just because I'm not that great of a stalker. I'd like to say that I'm going to get better, but that's probably not going to happen. Oh, and thanks for not calling the cops.